Hello again. Welcome back to Everyday Life in Finance with Robbie. I'm Robbie. I'm an attorney with a background in finance and business, and we're going to talk about one of the things that I love, and that's traveling. And we will incorporate a little finance in that as well. So now is a great time to start thinking about where do you want to go next year? What do you want to see? Like I said, I love seeing new things, meeting new people, seeing different places, and just travel in general, whether it's far or whether it's someplace close. But I'm really talking about going on a trip, that's not something that's around the corner, so now is a good time to start thinking about what do you want to do, where do you want to go, what do you want to see, who do you want to go with, and figuring it out. Because some places they book up really quickly if you're thinking about going during the tourist season or during the warmer months or something like that. You really want to make certain that you book early so that you can get the right hotel room. Some people don't care, about the hotel room. I do. I care about, my surroundings because, you do spend most of your time outside of the room, but, in the early part of the day or when you get back from, touring around, the different cities, you want to have someplace comfortable, and that's basically, how I look at it. And, everyone has their own preference, but that's me. I like to make certain I have the room of my choice. And it's not even about, having a luxurious room. Maybe you want to have two queen beds instead of just one king bed you want to share with someone. So that's why it's really important to book early. Figure out, do your research, figure out where you want to go and what do you want to do and who you're going to go with, whether you're going to go alone. The one thing that I've never been afraid of is going places on my own, whether near or far, going to other countries on my own, because my thing is life is short, and sometimes you're looking around trying to find a travel partner if you're not, if you're single, or even in some instances your spouse may not, or significant other may not be able to travel at the same time with you. So I don't ever want that to be a reason why I don't go somewhere or do something. I just make certain that if I am going to travel solo, that I'm going to make sure that I travel somewhere safe. I make certain that it's safe, make certain that the hotel that I stay in, it's in a safe area. And I try to book things and just do some research ahead of time to see where I should go, where I can't go, and schedule some things. Schedule, book a tour guide or something like that. Book a group tour. I've done that a lot. A couple of years ago, I went to Mexico, and it was just on a whim. I just felt the need to get away and just have some relaxation. It was, a pretty stressful time for me. And I went and I picked a hotel that, I went to Los Cabos, and I picked a hotel, Zoltri, which was a resort. It was great, So what I can say is there, it was more like a retreat. So you look, when you're scheduling things, I got a chance to tour, tour Los Cabos. And I also had a chance to do some things at the resort. Zotri is more like a wellness resort. Not totally, but they have a great spa. They have, fitness programs and just so much. So there was so much to do as a solo person there. And, I didn't feel like, like I was alone or anything like that. And that was someplace that I decided, I said, oh, I think I'm going to make this, an annual trip that I will go. And, since I was so comfortable going on my own and, having, being, in my own space and, it was just really comfortable. I did some tours, and you meet a lot of people that way when you do the organized tours. So even if, the hotel doesn't do that, there's several different companies that arrange different tours. Like, I think it's Viator. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, hopefully. But they have some wonderful tours in various cities. I recently went to Canada, and I did a tour with them of Niagara Falls and some other areas in around surrounding Niagara Falls, and it was really great. It was an all-day tour, and we had several different stops, and it was just wonderful, to get out. And like I said, you're with a group of people, and you get to know some people. That one I really didn't get to know, that many people, but at least you'll see a familiar face or whatever when you're walking around doing your sightseeing, because they do give you time to sightsee on your own, and then you go back to the bus. So you can do things like that, alone, or you can just, call up your friends and try to schedule something and figure out a plan, schedule it out. I'm the planner of the group. When I do go with friends, I'm usually the one that does all the planning. Um, and I don't mind, because it's interesting, and I get a chance to figure out, what's available in each city, what we should do, and provide options to the others. So it's good to write that out. But the key thing now is, is to book in advance to get great rates as well, and also to get the hotel that you want, the resort that you want, to make certain that everything is what you want. You're not just taking what's available, if you wait later in the year. So it's always a good time. Even with cruises, if you decide to go on a cruise, that's great for either solo travelers as well as, groups. That's something that you may want to consider. But again, you want to book early so that you can get the room that you want. And now, like during the months like December through February, usually most hotels and cruise lines, they offer great discounts, especially if you're booking, quite a bit ahead. So you want to keep that in mind. So I know a lot of you probably are thinking, hey, it's right after the holidays, I don't really have the money to book a trip, or not that I don't have it, but I don't want to because it's not in my budget and so forth. But there's so many ways to get around that. In many instances, you can book and just put a small deposit down. Other instances, I know with cruises, you can put a certain amount down, and even some hotels a certain amount down, and then 3 months, 4 months before the cruise, the balance is due. Hotels have options where you can book and you can pay at the hotel. So if you do something like that, now we're going to talk about finance. My favorite part, is when you're scheduling these types of trips, you want to make certain that, you're covered financially. There's nothing worse than going on a trip and not being able to enjoy it. So, let's say, it's December and you're scheduling a trip for July. Then you have, 7, 8 months to prepare for it, to get everything paid. So the first thing that I would suggest is, booking your hotel, booking your hotel. And like I said, with many hotels, you can book it. They may charge, one night or something like that. Some don't charge anything, and you pay, at the hotel. At the hotel, you pay the balance at the hotel. So that's one way that you can manage things. And during the months, preceding your trip, you can just save a little bit, budget for it, because I'm all about, like I said in another video, I'm all about planning and budgeting. They're necessary. And it doesn't mean, I know some people are like, oh, I don't budget, I don't, whatever. It's important. And even if you have the money, it's important to budget and plan. Budgeting is just not about it's not focused on not lack of. Some people, when they hear, oh, I'm budgeting, the first thing they think of is that there's a lack of funds. It's not a lack of funds. It's just you want to make certain that you're allocating your money, your hard-earned money, in the manner that you want it to go in your investments and things like that. And you want to also have money for other unforeseen things that may occur. So that's when I'm talking about budgeting. You want to make certain that you have you have funds allocated for different things. And with travel, that's something I think it's important to do something, even if it doesn't have to be a long trip. It could be, to the next state over or something like that, something that you want to see, but you still need to plan and budget for it, to make certain that you can do the things that you want to do, and also that you have the right accommodations, and that your flights are okay and everything is in line. So that's one thing that you should definitely focus on. So the first thing first, if you're going to if you're planning a trip, I would say choose your hotel. If you're traveling solo, make certain that you check the hotel, the location of the hotel, and make certain that it's safe. The surroundings are safe for a solo traveler, and figure that out. So, but book your hotel so that you have that secured, and like I said, there are many different discounted rates at this point in time during the early months of the year. And it's definitely a good time to do that. And while you're doing that, you can start taking a look at, like, if you're going to be traveling by air, you want to start taking a look at the airfare and see what's what, and keep tracking it. And then there's some days that the airlines will have, like, discounted rates, and some days are better than others. I know I have had a lot of success booking my airline tickets late nights on Tuesday nights. Like, I don't know why. It's like Tuesday and Wednesday sometimes as well, but it's during those late nights. I'm talking like after 9 p.m. Um, I seem to get the better rates, and you'll see that the rates fluctuate throughout the day. So you want to start taking a look at that, monitoring that, and then buying your tickets when they're at a good rate. You'll be able to determine what's a good rate based upon what you've seen and your research. Okay, and so you can do that. And they even have several different apps that track the price of different airfare, and you can take a look at those, and you can put in where you're interested in going, and it'll track, and it'll send you an email updating you on the various fares as they change. So you can start doing that. And I know some of you, we're talking about finance. You may not want to spend that money now, because during the holidays people tend to travel, spend a lot on gifts and tips and things of that sort. So, you may have, a credit card or something like that. I don't advocate um, keeping balances on credit cards, but the thing that you may be able to do is some cards offer, the zero interest. You can make a payment, and you can get zero interest over a certain amount of time. So let's say you have a credit card and it offers 0% interest for over a 6-month period. So maybe you can do something like that. And then if you do that, you can just split up the payments to make certain that it's paid in that 6-month period. You can split up the payments, and let's say, again, if using my example with traveling in July and you're scheduling in December, you have 6 months, and then whatever your plane tickets are paid off, by the time, you board the plane, so you don't, that's one less expense, and you've budgeted for it, and you've managed it by separating it into monthly payments. So that's if you have, a credit card that offers a 0%, you know, um, has a 0% offer. There are other cards, even Amex does it. They have flex pay options, whereas you pay a certain amount per month. You figure out the period. So there are several cards that do that, but you can do that. Or there's also PayPal credit, I believe. They offer, if you charge over a certain amount of money on that, it's not a charge card, it's like an online payment mechanism. So if you use their service, and the cost is more than a certain dollar amount, it's either $100 or $200, you can split the payments into 4 installments or something like that, 4 or 5, I think it might even be 6. But you can do something, you can make that sort of arrangement. So there's so many different options. So rather than waiting until, later on, when it gets closer to the time that you want to travel, it's good to schedule it in advance, figure out how you're going to pay for it. But the most important thing is getting your hotel booked, and then focusing on your air. And then once you get closer to the date, like maybe 3 months ahead, you may want to start looking at the various group tours that are available and paying for those. So then by the time you get to your travel date, you will have paid for just about everything. Everything will be accounted for if you do it in that manner. If you budget in that manner, you don't have to pay it off in one lump sum. And the other option, even with the hotels, if you do a hotel where it's you pay when you're there, when you get back, you may want to look and do some sort of flex pay option to pay that back. So there's so many different ways, but I think travel, for those who love it, some people don't love traveling, but for those who love it, I think it's important. It's definitely a stress reliever, because my motto, and I know a lot of people have this motto, you work hard, you need to play hard as well. And that's my thing. I get away. I just want to not think about anything and just clear my head and just be in the moment, not worry about work, because work will be here when you get back. All the other, distractions that you have, they'll be there when you get back, but you have that time. You can take that time and just, spend it doing something for yourself. So again, I just want to thank you, for coming back to the channel, and go and book that trip. Do something for you, whether it's with a group of people or if it's solo. Don't be afraid to do a solo trip. And I'll be coming back to you more with more topics on solo traveling. I do have a trip coming up, and I will more than likely be a solo traveler there. And I'll talk about it, and I'll let you know how it went. And it's big for me because it's a country that some countries they speak English, but they prefer that you speak their own language. So that's going to be the challenging thing for me. But we'll talk about that in another video. But again, thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos. And if you like this content, if you enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share. So thanks again, and go book those trips.